Today, I'm very happy, very blessed. I've got a very blessed marriage. I love my husband. He loves me. We take care of each other. But it wasn't like that in the beginning. My parents always taught us to be the best that we could be. They did what they did to show us a good example. But when I was in my 20s, I rebelled against my parents. I was working. I decided to move away from home and live by myself. My father was not happy with the situation, but my mother decided to give me the benefit of the doubt. And this is when I realized that I was not the person that my parents raised me to be. I was selfish, very impatient. I could see that with my friends at work, and I even got involved with married men. Even if there was a choice of having a single man, I would choose the married man, to the point that when I met one of them later on in my 20s, he liked me so much, he decided to leave his wife for me. He came to the UK, but I remained in Zimbabwe, in my home country. And after a year, he sent for me to join him. His wife didn't know about this, but we decided to go ahead and do what we did. We got married when I came over to the UK, and after a couple of years, my ex-husband then suffered a stroke, and I was his main carer during the time that he was still not able to do much for himself. So for 3 months, I would be looking after him in the morning and then going to work in the afternoon. The company that I was working for were very understanding. They allowed me to do that. They just felt sorry for me and they were very supportive. And my ex-husband had a sister who was attending the UCKG. She invited us to an event that was in London. We were living in Bedford, so we had to drive from Bedford to come to the event in London for his healing. And since he was not yet back to his normal self, he decided to go back to our home country. And over time, we realized things were not really working between us because of the distance. So many issues were happening. We decided to end the relationship. I remained here, and I remembered when we had been to the UCKG Help Center, how the event was for me. And I decided to go again. And I started attending in the evenings. And then I realized, no, this is very good. Let me also go on Sunday morning. The teachings that I was getting in the UCKG Hope Center were helping me to be a better person, not to be impatient anymore, not to be selfish, but to prioritize God and not to go to church as a social outing, but to make God my number one in my life. So when the campaign of faith came, I did not decide to do anything else except to ask God for His Spirit. And it was for me to have all of God inside of me as I was surrendering my all. I had to dig deep inside of me. Were there any grudges, any malice inside of me? And I realized I still had issues with my ex-husband's wife, and I decided to call her. It was not easy for me because I had to swallow my pride to call her. And God strengthened me, and I did call her. We spoke. And after that, I felt so relieved that I had to do what I had to do. On the day that we had to present our sacrifice on the altar, it was all or nothing. And God did not disappoint me. I went onto the altar, a different woman, full of negativity, full of things that are not pleasant. But by the time I placed my sacrifice on the altar, came down, I had the assurance that God had answered my prayer, my sacrifice. I was a completely transformed, different woman. And what a joy that day was, because I knew that God had answered my prayer. I could feel the assurance inside of me. I didn't cry, I didn't do anything, but I had the assurance that He was inside of me. And from then on, He just inspired me to do things that would glorify His name. I started fighting for my love life after a while because my ex-husband had died. And I met my husband, my current husband, in the church. We met in the singles hour.
When I came to the church, I was full of addictions. I was in a relationship for about almost 11 years. I was full of grudges and malice. And when I came to the church, my life was totally broken. I was destroyed. But as a result of coming to the church, I learned how to use my faith. Came a time when the campaign came and I sacrificed my wages. There was certain things that was close to me. Put that on the altar. I wanted this transformation in my life. I came to the altar and I gave my all to God, and God gave His all to me. And as a result, I met my wife in the singles hour. It is such a pleasure to have a woman of God filled with the Holy Spirit.
We got married in the church, and today we are very happy, serving God together side by side. So grateful to God. We could never exchange what He gave to us.
apart from God, me being baptized with the Holy Spirit, she's the best thing that happened to me.
So now here I am with my current husband, both of us filled with the Holy Spirit, giving to others what God gave to us freely, and we've got so much joy serving God, saving souls every single day of our lives, and we'll never ever give up what God gave to us in terms of His Holy Spirit. We are here together and we will never run away from God.